Night settles gently across the sky, and with it comes a quiet question. What shape does the universe wear when no one is looking? Some say it stretches endlessly, flat as a calm horizon. Others imagine it curving softly, looping back into itself like a cosmic breath. And somewhere beyond our seeing, the universe holds its form in silence, patient, ancient, and beautifully unknown. Welcome to AstraFlow. Here, science drifts like starlight, and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts slow down, your breathing find its rhythm, and your mind float through wonder. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're listening from. Are you lying in bed beneath the soft glow of city lights? Or are you somewhere quiet, maybe with the window open, feeling the night air drift across your room? Tell me in the comments. It's always peaceful to imagine the AstraFlow community scattered across the world, resting under the same sky, drifting together through a shared moment of curiosity. And if this calm journey brings you peace, you can gently support AstraFlow by liking this video or subscribing. It helps this little corner of the cosmos keep glowing. Now, breathe in slowly. Let the muscles around your eyes soften. Feel your body sink a little deeper into where you rest. There is nothing you need to hold on to right now, only the quiet unfolding of a question older than stars. What is the true shape of the universe? Tonight, we will drift through ancient light, through the soft curvature of space-time, through theories that wrap around themselves like quiet spirals. We will explore the possibility of a flat cosmos without edges, a closed cosmos that loops back like a gentle circle, and an open cosmos stretching endlessly like a desert of stars. None of this is meant to challenge your mind tonight. Instead, let it cradle you, as though the universe were whispering its secrets in a lullaby of geometry and light. So let your breath drift in and out like a tide. Let your awareness loosen, soften, dissolve. The universe is vast, but this moment is small and peaceful, and you're safe within it. Now, let's begin tonight's voyage into the quiet story of the true shape of the universe. For as long as humans have tilted their heads toward the sky, a quiet wonder has lived beneath every glance upward. How can something as vast as the universe have a shape at all? We are used to shapes we can touch, the curve of a bowl, the edge of a table, the roundness of a stone warmed by sunlight. But the universe, it holds everything. It contains every direction, every horizon, every breath we take. So how do you measure the form of something that has no outside, no boundary, no place where one could stand and look back at it? It's a question older than astronomy, older than mathematics, older even than recorded stories. Ancient thinkers imagined the heavens as crystal spheres. Others pictured them as infinite layers of air and fire. And yet, as centuries drifted by and the night sky revealed its deeper truths, the question softened but never vanished. It still lingers, like a gentle echo. Does the universe bend or stretch? Is it finite like a circle, or open like a horizon that never ends? Tonight, we're not here to solve the mystery with urgency. We're here to wander through it, slowly, calmly, as though strolling along a quiet shoreline before sleep. Imagine the universe not as a rigid object, but as a living fabric, flowing with the motion of stars and the breath of galaxies. Imagine space itself responding gently to gravity, curving like a blanket resting on a sleeping body. When astronomers ask about the universe's shape, they're not seeking a solid form carved in stone. They're asking how space behaves, how light travels, how distances stretch as the cosmos expands. They're listening to the geometry of existence, the way the universe bends around mass, the way its expansion carries galaxies farther apart like lanterns drifting on a slow river. But beneath all the science lies a feeling you may know well, the longing to understand where we belong. If the universe has a shape, then perhaps we occupy a particular place within it, and even if that place shifts, or stretches, or loops back around, the search for it becomes a gentle act of grounding ourselves in the vastness. So before sleep comes, let this question rest beside you, not demanding an answer, only inviting a sense of wonder. What does it mean for the cosmos to have form when we are part of the form itself? When astronomers speak about the universe's shape, they often describe it using three quiet possibilities, three gentle curvatures that define how space stretches, bends, and carries light across unimaginable distances. Each one is simple in essence, yet poetic in its own way, like three different ways a sheet of fabric might settle in still air. The first is a flat universe, where space has no curvature at all. In such a cosmos, parallel lines remain forever parallel, and triangles behave exactly as our intuition expects. It is the clean, balanced geometry we learned as children, calm, orderly, familiar. If the universe is flat, it may stretch outward infinitely, with no edge to approach and no centre to find. Just a vast, tranquil canvas where galaxies drift like glowing seeds on an endless breeze. The second possibility is a closed universe, gently curved inward like the surface of a sphere. In this shape, if you were to travel straight ahead, never turning, never stopping, you would eventually return to the place you began. There is no boundary, no wall, no precipice, only a smooth, continuous space that folds back into itself. Some people find comfort in this idea. The cosmos is a great cradle, looping softly around its contents, offering a sense of unity and return. And then there is an open universe, curved outward like a saddle. Here, space stretches more freely, expanding faster the farther out you go. Lines diverge gently, drifting apart like ripples spreading across a wide lake. Such a universe is boundless not only in size but in motion, a shape that encourages outward drift, as though the cosmos were forever exhaling. These three forms, flat, closed, and open, are the foundational possibilities of cosmic geometry. They describe how space responds to energy, how gravity shapes the paths of stars, and how the universe might feel if we could glide across it without limit. None of these shapes is a rigid outline. Instead, each one is a quiet behaviour, a tendency, a rhythm. As we move through tonight's journey, we'll let each of these shapes unfold like soft variations of a single cosmic theme. There is no need to choose among them now. Just feel how each one offers a different kind of peace, the stillness of flatness, the embrace of closure, the openness of expansion. In the gentle darkness around you, imagine these shapes drifting like constellations of possibility. Let them sway your thoughts into slow motion, a prelude to deeper wonder. When we speak about the universe's shape, we're not imagining an object floating in some larger void. There is no outside, no cosmic balcony where one could stand and trace its outline. Instead, the universe's shape is something softer, a description of how space behaves from within, how distances shift and how paths curve even when nothing seems to push them. In cosmic science, shape is less about edges and more about curvature. Curvature describes how space bends, not around a physical boundary, but around energy itself. Where mass gathers, in stars, galaxies, clusters, space gently curves, creating valleys and slopes in the invisible fabric of reality. Where the universe stretches, expanding like a slow breath, that fabric smooths out or thins. It's a geometry we can't see directly, yet we feel it through the way light travels, the way gravity whispers across distance, the way time folds itself into every motion. Imagine walking across a vast plain in deep fog. You cannot see the land shape from above, yet you can sense a slope beneath your feet, or a dip, or a rise. The universe is like that, a landscape whose form becomes known only through movement. Light becomes our footsteps. Gravity becomes our guide. Astronomers use these subtle movements to understand curvature. Photons from distant galaxies stretch as the universe expands. Their paths bend around massive objects, creating delicate arcs and distorted reflections. These effects reveal something profound. Space is not rigid. It can tilt, curve, and flex, responding to the presence of energy the way water responds to a touch on its surface. Even time participates. It flows differently depending on curvature. Near massive bodies, moments slow. In emptier regions, they glide more freely. So the shape of the universe is not a line you draw. It is a rhythm you experience. A silent choreography of space and time intertwined. And yet, despite all this complexity, the idea remains beautifully simple. If you move through the universe long enough, its behaviour reveals its form. Whether straight paths stay straight, whether large triangles add up unexpectedly, whether the farthest galaxies drift faster or slower, each is a quiet clue. Tonight we hold these clues gently, like small lanterns in a wide night. We're not solving anything. We are listening to the fabric beneath everything, the soft geometry of existence, as it whispers its shape with every breath of space. If you wanted to measure the universe, you would find no ruler long enough, no tape that could stretch between galaxies. Matter alone cannot reveal the universe's shape, but light, gentle, tireless, unbroken, becomes the universe's quiet ruler. It slips through darkness with perfect patience, carrying with it the story of space itself. Light does not simply travel through the universe. It travels with the universe, responding to its curves, its stretching, its quiet motions. A photon released billions of years ago is like a tiny messenger, untouched by time's weight, yet shaped by every contour of the cosmos. As the universe expands, the photon's wavelength stretches, turning bluer light into redder hues, like a whispered memory losing sharpness over distance. This redshift is not just colour, it's measurement. It's the universe adding another mark to its endless, unfolding ruler. When astronomers observe light from distant galaxies, they are not simply looking far away. They are looking back in time, reading the geometry of space from the way light has changed during its journey. If space curves inward, the paths of photons converge gently. If it curves outward, they drift apart like small boats floating on a widening sea. If space is flat, the photons glide straight, never bending more than gravity requires. You can imagine light as threads stretched across the cosmos. Follow enough of them, and you begin to see the loom beneath. Their angles, their stretching, their delicate interactions all form hints of the universe's underlying shape. But the beauty is not only in the science. There is something meditative about imagining light travelling for billions of years, untouched, unwavering. A single photon might cross the cold void between galaxy clusters, slip around the curve of a star's gravity, and continue onward without hesitation. Its journey is silent, patient, and full of meaning, a perfect metaphor for cosmic understanding that arrives slowly, gently, never with force. Humans used to measure the world by pacing fields, marking stones, or holding strings taut between posts. But the universe asks for a different kind of measurement, one that feels more like listening to how light stretches, how it bends, how it glows faintly after ages of wandering. In that glow, we find a ruler made not of metal or wood, but of pure motion, a ruler woven from the universe's own breath. And as we drift deep at night, we'll follow that light into its oldest whispers. Long before galaxies formed, before stars first shimmered into existence, the universe was a warm, glowing sea of particles. Light could not travel freely then. It scattered endlessly like lantern beams bouncing inside a fog. But as the cosmos expanded and cooled, something quiet and transformative happened. The fog thinned, atoms formed, and light slipped loose for the first time. That ancient light still travels today, stretched, softened, chilled by time, and we know it as the cosmic microwave background, the CMB. The CMB is not bright or dramatic. It is a whisper, a faint glow spread evenly across the sky, so gentle that it hides behind the static of old televisions. Yet within this whisper lies a map of the universe, as it was nearly 14 billion years ago. Tiny temperature variations, just fractions of a degree, scatter across it like soft ripples on a quiet lake. These ripples hold clues about density, motion, and above all, the curvature of space. Imagine the CMB as the universe's baby picture. Taken at the moment, it became transparent. In that image, the size and spacing of the ripples reveal something profound, whether space bends inward, outward, or not at all. In a closed universe, the ripples would appear larger, stretched across a curved surface. In an open universe, they would appear smaller, scattered across expanding space. In a flat universe, their size falls perfectly in line with predictions, balanced, familiar, steady. And that is what we see. The CMB's delicate patterns align almost exactly with what a flat cosmos would create. Not dramatically flat, not forced into shape, but naturally, quietly flat, as though the universe settled into the simplest geometry it could find. Still, even this gentle conclusion carries mystery. The CMB doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't reveal its secrets all at once. It hums softly, like a memory long faded, reminding us that the universe began in a state far different from the one we drift through now. Sometimes, when we look at the CMB, we're not just studying physics, we're listening to a lullaby from the dawn of time, a gentle background note that has never stopped playing, even as galaxies formed, stars lived and died, and you grew into the person listening tonight. The CMB is the oldest light we can see. Touching it with our imagination feels like brushing against the universe's first breath, and in that breath lies the first clear hint of its shape. Beneath every star, every drifting galaxy, every quiet pocket of space, there exists an invisible structure, a mathematical grid that shapes how the universe expands and breathes. You will never see this grid directly. It carries no light, casts no shadow, and makes no sound. Yet it guides the motion of everything, like a soft rhythm humming beneath a piece of music. Cosmologists call this structure the metric of the universe, a set of rules that determines how distance behaves as space stretches. Imagine, gently, that space is a vast flexible fabric. The metric is the weave of that fabric, the pattern that tells each thread how to stretch as the universe grows. When the cosmos expands, the threads don't pull from their ends. Instead, the space between them simply grows. Nothing moves through the grid itself changes. It widens slowly and quietly, like lungs expanding during a peaceful breath. This grid isn't rigid, it shifts with time. In the early universe, it expanded rapidly, each thread racing apart in a burst of inflation. Later, the expansion slowed into a gentle drift, and now, guided by dark energy, the grid stretches faster once more, not chaotically but smoothly, like a tide rising without waves. You can picture yourself floating within it, not resting on a surface but suspended in a three-dimensional sea where every direction is equally open. If you drifted forward, the grid would not resist you. If you turned, it would not twist. Its only constant action is its quiet expansion, the soft widening of distances, the slow drift of galaxies farther apart, even as their own internal stars remain tightly bound. Though invisible, this grid leaves traces. Light travelling through it stretches, aging from blue to red. Galaxies recede from us not because they flee, but because the ocean of space between us widens. The grid determines the universe's tempo, its gentle rhythmic unfolding. Some people imagine the universe as a place full of turbulence and noise, stars exploding, black holes feeding, galaxies colliding. But beneath all of that motion lies something incredibly peaceful, a smooth, predictable expansion that has carried on for billions of years without a single moment of hesitation. It is this invisible metric that allows scientists to ask what shape the universe holds. If the grid curves inward or outward, if it lies flat like a calm horizon, or if it twists in subtle ways, that curvature becomes the universe's geometry. And tonight, as your thoughts soften, you can imagine this grid beneath you, holding you gently, expanding around you, carrying everything forward in quiet harmony. If the universe is truly flat, its geometry becomes something beautifully simple, a quiet, infinite plane where space neither curves inward nor outward. It is the kind of geometry most of us learned in childhood, straight lines, steady angles and distances that behave exactly as intuition expects. But when you lift this familiar geometry into the vastness of the cosmos, it becomes something far more poetic than a schoolbook diagram. In a flat universe, parallel lines remain parallel forever. A beam of light travelling across billions of years will never veer off course unless gravity bends it. Triangles drawn between galaxies would add up exactly as Euclid once described, even though he never imagined his rule stretching this far. There is a quiet elegance in imagining a cosmos that follows such simple harmony, a universe that doesn't twist or warp on the scale of eternity. But flatness carries another meaning: infinity. A flat universe can expand without ever looping back on itself. There is no edge, no wall, no hidden rim where everything stops. Instead, the horizon becomes a soft promise, always there, always out of reach, always opening into more space, more time, more possibility. Imagine standing on a calm beach at dusk. The horizon looks flat, stretching endlessly in both directions. No matter how far you walk, the line never approaches. The ocean does not end, it simply continues beyond your sight. A flat universe feels a bit like that. Not empty, not lonely, just spacious in a way that allows your thoughts to breathe. If you drifted through such a universe in a straight line, you would never return to where you began. Your path would extend forward forever, carried by the gentle expansion of space. Galaxies would drift behind you, then fade, then vanish into red-shifted whispers. The journey would not feel rushed or demanding. It would feel like gliding across a boundless plain with no expectation of arrival. This idea, that the universe might be infinitely large and infinitely calm in its geometry, is one of the reasons many cosmologists find flatness compelling. It matches what we see in ancient light. It matches how galaxies cluster. It matches the quiet patterns of the cosmic microwave background. But beyond the measurements lies something softer, a sense of openness, a sense that the cosmos offers room for thought, room for dreams, room for every drifting question a tired mind carries at the end of the day. Tonight, as you rest, imagine the universe as a wide, endless horizon, a place where nothing needs to bend, where everything simply expands gently around you. There is something quietly comforting about the idea of zero curvature, a universe balanced so perfectly that space neither leans inward nor bows outward. It is a kind of cosmic stillness, a gentle symmetry that feels almost like equilibrium made visible across the stars. When scientists describe the universe as flat, they aren't only speaking mathematically, they're describing a harmony between matter, energy and expansion, a harmony delicate enough to feel like the universe is resting. In a zero curvature cosmos, space behaves with surprising simplicity. If you draw the largest triangle imaginable, one corner where you rest, one at a far galaxy, one at a deeper cosmic filament, its angles would add up exactly as expected even across billions of light years. Distances scale cleanly, paths remain steady. There is no unexpected bending except where mass creates its own local curves. It's a universe that plays by gentle rules you learned long before you ever wondered what lay beyond the sky. But the beauty of flatness is not only in the mathematics, it lies in the feeling it evokes. Imagine stretching a sheet of calm water across the cosmos, smooth, undisturbed, reflecting starlight in a flawless plane. That is the emotional essence of zero curvature, a sense of spaciousness, a sense that nothing pulls too hard or twists too sharply, a sense that the universe breathes in even, unbroken rhythm. And yet, achieving flatness is not simple. It requires a delicate balance between all the energy in the universe and the rate at which space expands. Too much mass, and the universe would curve inward. Too little, and it would curve outward. But somehow, against all odds, these cosmic ingredients align so closely that the curvature appears almost perfectly neutral, neither folding nor flaring. Some cosmologists find this unsettling. The balance seems too precise. Others find it beautiful, as though the universe chose the path of least disturbance. For us, drifting in tonight's quiet journey, flatness becomes a soft metaphor. Even in something as vast as the cosmos, balance is possible. Stillness is possible. A gentle middle ground can exist between extremes. As you rest, imagine yourself floating in a place where nothing tilts or bends around you. A calm expanse. A universe that simply is, without struggle. Let that image soften your thoughts, smooth the edges of your day, and prepare you to drift deeper into the shapes still waiting to unfold. Now imagine a different possibility, one where the universe curves gently inward, like the surface of a great cosmic sphere. Not a sphere floating in space, not a solid shell with an inside or outside, but a three-dimensional version of that familiar shape, extended into dimensions our senses cannot directly picture. In a closed universe, space loops softly back on itself. There are no edges here, no walls, no brink from which one could fall. Everything connects smoothly and continuously, like a horizon that folds in every direction. If you were to travel in a straight line across such a universe, never turning, never stopping, you would eventually return to the point where you began. Even though you never curved your path, it is space itself that curves. Your motion remains straight, but the cosmos bends your journey back toward home. There is something tender in that idea, a universe that holds you in a loop, never allowing you to drift endlessly into isolation. The closed universe is denser than its flat or open counterparts. There is more gravity here, more mass gently pulling space inward. This doesn't create tight corners or sharp curvature. Instead, the bending is gradual, almost imperceptible, the way a long road might feel level even though it follows the arc of the Earth. To beings inside the universe, the curvature would be invisible unless measured across billions of light years. Picture the cosmos like a balloon, but not one you can hold. Imagine its surface expanding, stretching outward, carrying galaxies with it like tiny points on that surface. The balloon analogy is imperfect, because we're not living on the surface, but inside the three-dimensional version of that shape, yet the feeling remains. Everything moves apart, and yet everything remains connected within a single, continuous whole. Some find comfort in this vision. There is a quiet poetry in a universe that loops back on itself, a cosmos with no true beginning or end, only smooth pathways that eventually return to familiar ground. Others reflect on how this shape mirrors human experience, the way memories circle back, the way lessons repeat, the way journeys sometimes lead us home without warning. In a closed universe, infinity becomes softer. Not endless, but boundless. Not a cold expanse, but a gentle container. A cosmic cradle where everything exists together, enclosed yet free. As you drift deeper into tonight's narration, imagine gliding across this curved space. No corners, no edges, only a soft bend in the fabric of reality, guiding you quietly back toward where you began. There is a quiet tenderness in the thought of a universe that curves inward, holding itself the way a pair of gentle hands might cradle a sleeping child. A closed cosmos isn't trapped or confined, it's simply whole. Every path connects, every journey comes full circle, and nothing is ever truly lost, only carried along the curve until it finds its way back again. Imagine drifting through such a universe. You move in a straight line, calm, steady, unhurried, and the space around you bends your path without you noticing. It's not a twist, not a spiral, not a turn, just the natural shape of reality guiding you gently. After unimaginable distances, you would return to your starting point, not because you reversed course, but because the cosmos itself curved your motion into a loop. There is something soothing about that. It suggests a cosmic memory, a built-in promise that nothing strays forever. Galaxies separated by light years of distance still share the same continuous fabric. Stars born far apart still belong to the same enclosed whole. Even you, a single consciousness resting tonight, are part of that loop, a quiet point on an enormous curve that connects everything. In this universe, expansion doesn't break the circle, it widens it. It stretches the cosmic surface like a balloon inflating, but always preserves the gentle continuity. Every galaxy moves away from every other, yet the underlying shape remains closed, a soft cosmic embrace that grows but never fractures. Some physicists view this as a possibility that faded with new data, but philosophically, emotionally, it remains a powerful way to imagine our place in the cosmos. A universe that curves inward feels intimate, almost protective. It mirrors the ways our own minds work, how memories return, how feelings cycle, how life seems to loop through themes again and again. Even the night around you participates in loops, your breath rising and falling, your thoughts drifting and circling, your body sinking deeper into its natural rhythm. In a closed universe, you're never moving toward an edge. There is no border to fear, no emptiness waiting beyond a cliff of stars. Instead, every direction ultimately leads you home. Tonight, let that image cradle you as well. A universe shaped not by sharp angles, but by a single, continuous curve, one that wraps softly around everything it contains. Now let the mind drift toward the third possibility, a universe that curves not inward, but outward. A cosmos shaped like a gentle saddle, spreading wider the farther you travel, opening itself endlessly in every direction. This is the open universe, a place where space stretches with increasing eagerness, as if inviting everything within it to drift farther apart, softly and without resistance. Unlike the closed universe, which loops back on itself like a circle, an open universe offers no return path. Move forward in a straight line, and your journey stretches on forever. Not because you are fleeing something, but because the space before you keeps unfolding, continuously, patiently, without any curve to draw you back. The universe expands here with a spaciousness that feels almost like a deep, slow exhale. Mathematically, an open universe has negative curvature, but that phrase can mislead. There is nothing sharp or harsh about it. Imagine instead a vast, shallow saddle, not steep, not disorienting, simply bowed outward so gently that only the longest distances reveal the bend. On such a surface, parallel lines drift apart. Triangles add up to less than what Euclid taught. Light spreads more freely, diverging like ripples on a widening pool. If you picture space as a fabric, then an open universe is a cloth stretched so continuously that no amount of wandering could ever bring you back to your starting point. Galaxies here move away from one another with a quiet urgency, carried on the expanding grid beneath them. The farther apart they are, the faster they recede, not because of motion through space, but because the very room between them grows. There is a certain emotional quality to this shape as well. It feels like possibility, a universe without loops, without boundaries, without a final horizon. For some, that openness evokes awe, for others, a gentle melancholy. But in a meditative sense, it can feel like spaciousness, a reminder that not everything must return, that some journeys can simply drift outward, softly, without conclusion. And even in such openness, there is peace. The cosmic structure remains smooth, the expansion remains orderly. Galaxies continue their slow dance, though the distances between them grow ever wider. As you rest tonight, imagine floating in a universe like this, where nothing pulls you back, nothing confines you, and every breath feels like an invitation to drift farther into calm, widening space. A universe shaped not like a cradle, nor like a flat horizon, but like a gentle outward curve that opens endlessly ahead of you. There is a particular stillness that comes from imagining boundless expansion, a universe that doesn't curve back inward, that doesn't settle into flat equilibrium, but instead widens with gentle persistence. In an open universe, distance is not simply measured, it changes. The farther something is, the more rapidly that space expands between you and it. It's as if the cosmos itself carries everything outward on a soft, ever-growing tide. Imagine standing on a quiet desert plateau at dusk. The horizon stretches in all directions, unbroken, untouched. As you walk, the land never folds back. It simply continues, revealing more distance, more sky, more quiet air. That is what an open universe feels like. An endless openness that does not ask where you came from or where you're going. It simply makes room. In this shape of cosmos, galaxies drift apart not because they push against anything, but because the space between them gently expands. Like ink dots on a balloon being inflated, the galaxies recede from one another, even though they remain still in their own local neighbourhoods. The expansion isn't chaotic or wild, it's steady, smooth, almost meditative, a gradual stretching that has been unfolding for billions of years. For light, this boundless expansion leaves a quiet signature. Photons travelling through space find their wavelengths stretched, their colours reddened. They age gently, as if carrying the imprint of every widening moment. The more space grows, the more softly those ancient signals fade, whispering across the cosmos with memories of a younger universe. Emotionally, the open universe carries a sense of possibility. There is nothing to return to, no great loop pulling everything inward. Instead, there is freedom, a vastness that allows every path to continue outward forever. And though that might sound lonely, it can also feel liberating, like realizing the world around you has more room for your thoughts, your dreams, your quiet wonder. Even your breathing mirrors this shape tonight. Each inhale gathers, each exhale widens. With every breath, you participate in a tiny version of cosmic expansion, your chest opening, then softening, then opening again. It is a rhythm as old as the stars. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine your awareness floating in a universe shaped by openness. There are no edges to fear, no boundaries to reach, only a gentle widening, carrying you outward on a calm, endless horizon of space and silence. To understand why the universe might be flat, closed, or open, we must drift into the heart of a simple yet profound idea: space curves, because energy tells it to. Not in a forceful, mechanical way, but in a soft, responsive one. like a blanket settling around the shape of what it covers. This relationship between matter, energy, and curvature is the essence of Einstein's vision of gravity, a vision far more fluid than the tug we feel when we drop a stone. Gravity is not a pull from one object to another, it is the gentle bending of space-time itself. Where mass gathers, space curves inward. Where energy spreads thinly, space stretches outward. Time, woven into this fabric, flows differently depending on the curvature it rests upon. Moments lengthen near heavy masses, and glide more freely where space is open and light. You can imagine the universe as a soft, flexible sheet. Place something massive on it. A star, a galaxy, a cluster, and the sheet dips subtly, guiding the paths of nearby objects. But unlike a physical sheet, space-time has no outside. Its curvature isn't caused by something pressing down on it. It is an intrinsic behaviour arising naturally from the presence of energy. Even emptiness curves. Vacuum is not truly empty. It contains quantum fluctuations, dark energy, and the subtle pressure of expansion. These ingredients shape space-time quietly, continuously, without any need for matter at all. Dark energy, especially, plays a leading role. It drives the universe's accelerated expansion, spreading space more quickly the farther out you look. This connection, mass shaping space, space guiding mass, forms a gentle loop. Galaxies move along curved paths not because something pulls them, but because they're following the natural flow of space-time. Light bends around massive objects not because it has weight, but because the space it travels through is curved like a soft valley. There is something soothing about this interplay. It makes gravity feel less like a command and more like a conversation, a cosmic dialogue between matter and the fabric that carries it. A star says, "I am here," and space-time responds, "Then I will adjust my shape around you." A galaxy cluster whispers, "I am heavy," and space replies, "Then I will bend gently to guide your motion." Even dark energy murmurs, "I push outward," and the universe widens in return. As you rest tonight, imagine space-time as a calm ocean beneath everything. Waves rise where mass gathers, waves fall where emptiness dominates. Through these curves, the universe expresses its shape, softly, gracefully, endlessly. If space curves because energy shapes it, then one mysterious ingredient rises above all others in determining the universe's fate: dark energy. Invisible, intangible, and yet profoundly influential, dark energy is thought to make up nearly 70% of everything in existence. It fills space quietly, like a soft pressure permeating every corner of the cosmos, pushing galaxies apart with a steady hand. Unlike matter, which pulls, dark energy pushes. It does not clump or gather, it remains evenly distributed, a smooth presence woven into space-time. Its effect is gentle but cumulative. The more space expands, the more room dark energy has to operate, and the stronger its influence becomes. It is as if the universe discovered a breath that keeps deepening, widening, easing outward with time. This outward push affects curvature in subtle ways. If dark energy is strong enough, it can drive the universe toward openness, creating a geometry that stretches without end. If it is balanced with matter in just the right way, it can support flatness, a delicate equilibrium where expansion and energy density match perfectly. If dark energy behaved differently in the past, it might even allow for a closed structure, though current evidence leans toward a universe gently expanding forever. Imagine dark energy as a quiet tide. You do not see the tide rising moment by moment, but over long spans of time its effect becomes undeniable. Galaxies drift apart, not because they wish to leave one another, but because the sea of space beneath them subtly widens. 1,000,000 years may pass with only a soft shift, but billions of years reveal the slow, graceful opening driven by this unseen force. There is a calm mystery and dark energy. We don't know what it is. We don't know why it exists. We only observe its influence, the way it guides the universe's large-scale shape, the way it accelerates expansion, the way it gently transforms the geometry of all we can see. Some nights, when astronomers gaze at distant supernovae or measure the faint patterns of galaxy clusters, they are not simply collecting data. They are listening to the quiet voice of dark energy, tracing its imprint across cosmic history. The numbers they record are like ripples from a long-forgotten wave. Tonight, let dark energy become less of a puzzle and more of a feeling, a reminder that even the vastest forces can act softly, a reminder that expansion need not be abrupt or chaotic, a reminder that the universe's shape is guided by a gentle influence, always present, always patient. Even if we cannot step outside the universe to glimpse its outline, the galaxies within it trace subtle patterns that hint at its underlying shape. They are like glowing beads strung across an invisible framework, clustering, stretching, and scattering in ways that reveal the geometry beneath. By watching how these galaxies arrange themselves over billions of light years, cosmologists can sense the curvature of space the way one might sense the slope of a hill through careful footsteps in the dark. Galaxies are not sprinkled randomly. They gather in filaments, long threads of stars and dark matter stretching across cosmic distances. Between them lie vast, quiet voids, regions so empty they feel like deep breaths in the structure of space. This web-like pattern, called the cosmic web, forms naturally as the universe expands, but the size of the filaments, the spacing of the voids, and the scale of the clusters depend directly on the universe's geometry. In a closed universe, these structures would appear compressed, as though space were curving inward around them. In an open universe, they would spread more widely, drifting apart as though stretched over an expanding saddle. And in a flat universe, the cosmic web settles into the configuration we actually observe, balanced, proportional, neither squeezed nor overexpanded. Astronomers use enormous sky surveys to map this cosmic web. Each dot on their charts represents a galaxy containing billions of stars, and collectively these dots form gentle patterns that only make sense within a particular shape of space. Over time, the maps begin to resemble a great tapestry, delicate filaments weaving through darkness, clusters glowing like knots, voids resting like soft dimples in the cosmic fabric. When scientists compare these maps with simulations, something remarkable happens. The real universe aligns almost perfectly with the patterns predicted for a flat cosmos. Not perfectly straight in every detail, but balanced overall, like a calm sea whose ripples never grow too steep or too wide. Yet there is beauty in remembering that these patterns arise not from design, but from natural motion. Gravity draws galaxies together. Expansion carries them apart. Dark matter shapes the threads. Dark energy stretches the spaces between. And through all of this, the large-scale arrangement becomes a quiet signature of the universe's shape. As you rest tonight, imagine drifting above this cosmic web, gliding over glowing filaments, slipping past vast dark voids, watching the universe reveal its geometry through the positions of distant islands of light. In their arrangement lies a soft whisper of the cosmos' true form. As we move deeper into tonight's journey, the question of shape begins to blur into something even more mysterious. Some cosmologists propose that the universe we see, the one filled with galaxies, light and cosmic structure, may be only a projection of something higher dimensional, a three-dimensional shadow cast by a form we cannot perceive directly. It sounds abstract at first, almost dreamlike, but the idea arises naturally from physics. When a lower dimensional surface holds the imprint of something higher dimensional, its geometry can seem puzzling from within. Just as a curved line might be the shadow of a spiral, or a flat shape might hide the contours of a sphere, our universe could be reflecting a deeper structure that we only sense through indirect clues. Imagine holding your hand near a lamp. The shadow it casts is a real shape, visible, measurable, distinct, but it does not reveal the full form of your hand. It suggests the shape, but only partially. In the same way, the cosmic structures we observe could be shadows of a higher dimensional reality, shaping our three-dimensional world from beyond our perception. Some theories, like the holographic principle, suggest that everything within our universe, every photon, every atom, every curve of space, might be encoded on a distant surface, much like information on a cosmic film. From that surface, reality unfolds inward, creating a space that feels expansive, continuous, and deeply three-dimensional, even though its ultimate description could lie in a dimension we never touch. This idea doesn't diminish the universe, it enriches it. It opens the possibility that the cosmic curvature we measure is only an echo of a deeper curvature, a geometry belonging to a realm just beyond the horizon of our senses. And yet, there is something gentle about imagining the universe this way. A shadow is not lesser than the object casting it. It is simply a different expression, a quieter version, a softened imprint that carries the essence without the complexity. If our cosmos is a three-dimensional shadow, then every star you see tonight is both real and symbolic, a reflection of something deeper, shining through dimensions like light, passing through a delicate veil. As you rest, you don't need to picture the mathematics or the physics. Just imagine that the universe may have layers, some visible, some hidden, all contributing to the shape we experience. And like a shadow dancing on a wall, the cosmos may be offering us its most peaceful version of a deeper truth. One of the quiet challenges in understanding the universe's shape is beautifully simple. We are inside it. We cannot step out, cannot orbit around it, cannot view it from a distance the way we might admire a mountain, or trace the outline of a distant shore. We live within the cosmic fabric woven into the very material we seek to understand. And because of that, the universe's overall form becomes something we must sense indirectly, like a fish trying to imagine the shape of the ocean. Imagine a small creature living its entire life beneath the surface of a vast sea. It sees currents, colours, drifting particles. It feels the pressure change as it rises or sinks, but it never sees the ocean's surface, never glimpses its boundaries, never steps outside to observe its true geometry. It must infer the shape of its world through movement, through flow, through gentle clues. This is our position in the cosmos. We see galaxies receding. We feel curvature through the bending of light. We sense expansion through the dimming of ancient signals. But these clues do not paint an entire picture. They offer hints, whispers, impressions. The universe reveals itself not in clear silhouettes but in subtle behaviour. And yet, there is a strange beauty in this limitation. It reminds us that understanding does not always require stepping back. Sometimes, meaning unfolds from within. A forest cannot be seen fully by the deer wandering through it, yet the deer feels the forest intimately, through scent and sound, through leaves brushing its sides, through the soft ground under its hooves. In the same way, we inhabit the universe as participants, not observers standing apart. Even our measurements are shaped by this constraint. We measure what light does as it crosses space. We measure how time flows in different places. We measure how galaxies form patterns across unimaginable distances. And from these traces, we assemble a picture. Not a perfect one, but a gentle approximation of the shape we live within. Perhaps this is why the universe's geometry feels so poetic. We do not see it, we feel it. We infer it the way one senses the shape of a room while wandering in darkness, touching walls lightly, listening to echoes. The universe too echoes through light, gravity, motion, expansion, and from those echoes, we form our understanding. Tonight, as you drift deeper into calm, imagine yourself floating within a space too large to ever fully see. You don't need to grasp its edges, you only need to listen to how it guides you, softly, subtly, like a vast presence holding you from all sides. When we think of shape, we often think of curves, edges, and surfaces, but there is another layer to the universe's form, a quieter, more mysterious layer known as topology. Topology doesn't ask whether space is curved inward or outward. It asks how space is connected, whether it stretches endlessly or loops back, whether pathways repeat, whether distant regions secretly touch. Imagine holding a simple sheet of paper. You can bend it gently, curve it, or flatten it again. The geometry changes, but the paper remains a single, continuous piece. Topology looks beyond the bending, beyond the stretching, to ask how that piece is linked. Is it unbroken? Is it folded into a loop? Does it twist like a ribbon? These questions matter even if the surface appears flat. Now imagine the universe in those terms. Even if its geometry looks flat, it could still wrap around itself subtly. It could be shaped like a torus, a cosmic donut, where travelling straight long enough might bring you back to where you began, even though space appears uncurved. Or the universe could have a more exotic topology, one where opposite edges connect, forming repeating regions like rooms reflected in infinite mirrors. Some of these shapes would create repeating patterns in the cosmic microwave background, faint echoes of structures that appear more than once because space loops behind the scenes. Others would reveal themselves through unusual alignments of galaxies or through patterns that seem to whisper, "You've been here before," even if everything looks new. One topology resembles a three-dimensional version of a Mobius strip, a surface with a twist, where travelling in one direction could bring you back mirrored, subtly reversed. Another resembles a multi-connected sphere, where space folds in unexpected ways without any visible curvature. These shapes aren't science fiction, they are real, testable possibilities. And because we cannot step outside the universe, topology might hold clues geometry cannot show us. Two universes might look identical in their curvature, yet differ entirely in how space connects to itself. There is something deeply poetic in this. It suggests that the universe could be both finite and unbounded, both continuous and looping, both expansive and intimately interconnected. A place where every path is part of a larger pattern, even if we cannot see the whole design. As you rest tonight, let topology drift through your thoughts not as mathematics but as a feeling, a reminder that connection can exist even when unseen, that loops can form softly without edges, and that the universe's deepest shape might be woven from patterns far more subtle than curves alone. If the universe possesses a multi-connected topology, then space might not simply extend outward into new territory, it might repeat. Not in an obvious way, like a mirrored room in a carnival, but softly, subtly, the way a dream reuses familiar shapes without your noticing. You could travel in a straight line across billions of light years and eventually pass through a region that looks strangely familiar, not because you've returned to your starting point, but because space has quietly folded into itself. Imagine wandering through a vast, peaceful hall with walls so far apart they dissolve into haze. You walk, and just when you think you've entered a new chamber, something in the air feels recognizable. A pattern in the dust, a flicker of distant light, a soft echo of the room you left behind. This is what a repeating universe might feel like. A cosmos where patterns subtly recur, not through coincidence, but through the underlying shape of space. In some topological models, the entire universe could be composed of a handful of connected tiles of space that repeat through the cosmos. Galaxies in one region might be faint reflections of galaxies in another, Light could wrap around the universe in multiple directions, creating subtle signatures in the cosmic microwave background, quiet hints of repetition woven into ancient radiation. But these repetitions wouldn't be obvious. They would be gentle, stretched by expansion, softened by billions of years of motion. Like a melody echoed across a canyon, the pattern remains, but faint, almost mistaken for noise unless listened to carefully. There's something deeply soothing in imagining a universe woven from repeating rooms. It suggests that nothing exists in isolation, that every pocket of space participates in a larger, interconnected pattern. Even if galaxies never meet twice, their shapes might resonate through the cosmos like recurring motifs in a long, celestial lullaby. Such a universe would be finite yet endless in experience. You could wander forever without reaching an edge. You could drift without repeating your path consciously, yet the deeper geometry would whisper its structure through gentle echoes. And perhaps this mirrors something within us. Our thoughts cycle softly, returning to memories or feelings shaped long ago. Our dreams reuse settings we don't fully recognize. Life too has its repetitions, gentle loops of emotion, intention and reflection. If the cosmos repeats, it does so quietly, like a dream that unfolds in widening circles. Its echoes are soft, calm, almost tender. Tonight, imagine drifting through such a universe, each step familiar yet new, as though space itself were humming a pattern you almost remember. One of the quietest paradoxes in cosmology is the idea that the universe might be finite, yet unbounded. At first, the words seem to contradict each other. How can something have limited size but no edges? And yet nature offers this possibility with a calm, effortless clarity, like a puzzle that resolves the moment you stop trying to force it. The surface of Earth is an example. Walk in any direction and you will never find a wall, never encounter an edge. The journey simply continues, looping gently around the globe, bringing you back to where you started. Earth's surface is finite yet unbounded. You cannot fall off, you can only explore. Now imagine this idea lifted into 3 dimensions. A universe shaped like a higher dimensional sphere could be limited in total volume, yet offer no boundary, no edge, no terminus. Travel straight for long enough, and you might eventually return to your starting point, not because you turned, but because space itself curved your path. And yet, to an observer inside, the universe would feel infinite. Every direction would look open, with no sign of closure. This possibility brings a sense of peace. There is something comforting about a universe that contains itself fully, without sharp limits or unreachable infinities. It mirrors the way nights feel when we are half asleep. The room is finite, yet our awareness drifts without boundaries, expanding softly beyond walls that no longer matter. Scientists test this idea through patterns in the cosmic microwave background, searching for repeating signals or matching shapes that might indicate a closed, unbounded geometry. So far, the evidence leans toward a flatness, but the door to a finite yet boundless universe remains gently open. The cosmos may still hold curves subtle enough to escape detection, just as the Earth's curvature is invisible to someone walking across a quiet field. Emotionally, this concept resonates in a way few scientific ideas do. It suggests that our journey through the universe might be part of a larger, harmonious loop, not a circle of confinement, but a graceful continuity where nothing ever reaches an abrupt end. Even the expansion of space wouldn't break this connection. It would simply stretch the loop, widening it without tearing its completeness. As you rest tonight, imagine drifting through a universe where every direction leads forward, where no horizon ever becomes a cliff, and where the journey continues without ever needing an edge. A universe that holds itself gently, finite yet unbounded, like a soft cradle for all existence. One of the simplest ways to picture the universe's expansion and its shape is through the image of a balloon. Not a balloon floating in space, but a balloon whose surface represents the entirety of cosmic existence. When you inflate the balloon, every point on its surface moves away from every other, not because the points themselves are travelling, but because the surface underneath them is stretching. In this analogy, the surface has no centre that lies upon it. The centre exists only in a higher dimension, just as the true centre of our universe's expansion lies outside our three-dimensional experience. If you lived as a tiny being on the balloon's surface, you would never find an edge, walk in any direction, and the journey simply continues, looping around without revealing a boundary. A gentle, unbroken world. Our universe, of course, is not a two-dimensional surface, but a three-dimensional version of this idea. As it expands, galaxies drift apart, carried not by their own motion, but by the swelling fabric of space itself. The balloon analogy doesn't capture every detail, but it offers a soothing picture. Space stretches uniformly, like rubber smoothing outward with each breath of air. Another comforting aspect of this image is how it explains the uniformity of expansion. No matter where you stand on the balloon, every point appears to be moving away from you. The same is true in our universe. From Earth, galaxies seem to recede in all directions. From any galaxy, observers would see the same pattern. There is no privileged centre, only a shared expansion that treats all regions equally. Yet the balloon carries another message about shape. If the universe behaves like the surface of a sphere, it might be finite but unbounded, gently curving back on itself. But if it behaves differently, if the fabric stretches without looping, then the metaphor shifts, offering just one of many possible shapes the cosmos could hold. Even so, the balloon provides an emotional doorway into understanding expansion. Picture the quiet inflation, the gradual smoothing of wrinkles, the soft widening of every distance. Nothing on the surface bursts outward in chaos. Everything simply drifts, comfortably and predictably, as more space appears between every point. As you breathe tonight, imagine each inhale gently expanding a balloon of awareness around you. Not large, not pressured, just widening softly, the way space itself has widened for billions of years. Let the image hold you, a universe that stretches, smooths, and expands with the same calm rhythm as your breath. When we talk about the universe's shape, it is easy to imagine we are describing everything. But in reality, we can only measure the shape of the observable universe, the portion of the cosmos from which light has had time to reach us since the beginning of cosmic expansion. Beyond that boundary lies a realm we cannot yet see, a vast expanse drifting forever outside our horizon, like a shoreline hidden behind morning fog. The observable universe is not a physical bubble with walls. It is simply the distance light has managed to travel in nearly 14 billion years, stretched by expansion into a soft sphere around us. Everything inside it forms our cosmic neighbourhood. Everything beyond it remains unseen, though not absent. And this distinction matters deeply, because the shape we infer from what we can see may not reflect the shape of the whole. Imagine standing in a quiet valley surrounded by evening mist. You can only see a few hills nearby, faint silhouettes rising through the haze. From your vantage point, the land may appear flat, but beyond the fog, the world could curve, dip, rise, or stretch in ways you cannot detect. Your experience is real, but incomplete. Cosmologists face the same limitation. We measure the curvature of the observable universe through ancient light, galaxy patterns, and cosmic expansion. So far, those clues paint a picture that looks remarkably flat, but the unobservable universe could be larger, differently curved, or shaped in ways too subtle for our measurements to capture. Some theories even suggest that the universe beyond our observable bubble might be wildly different, perhaps curved differently, or expanding at other rates. Our region could be a calm patch in a far larger, more varied cosmic landscape. Just as a calm lake might sit inside a mountainous terrain, our observable universe could be one gently shaped region inside a grander, more intricate whole. And yet, even with these limitations, there is peace in what we do know. The observable cosmos gives us structure, beauty, and enough data to trace the contours of the space we inhabit. We may not see the entire tapestry, but we can still appreciate the patterns revealed in the portion illuminated for us. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself at the edge of a softly glowing horizon, not a boundary that blocks you, but a gentle limit defined by light's long, patient journey toward you. Beyond it lies mystery, possibility, and silence, but within it lies everything you've ever seen, felt, or wondered about. And that small glowing bubble is enough to guide us toward understanding, one calm measurement at a time. For all the mystery surrounding the universe's true shape, the clues we've gathered so far point again and again toward one quiet conclusion. Space appears remarkably flat. Not perfectly, perhaps. Perfection rarely exists in nature, but close enough that every major measurement aligns with the geometry of a calm, uncurved cosmos. It is as though the universe settled into a shape of gentle balance, neither folding inward nor stretching outward too sharply. One of the strongest pieces of evidence comes from the cosmic microwave background. Its tiny temperature variations form patterns that match almost exactly what a flat universe would imprint. Like waves on a still pond, the ripples of ancient radiation spread out evenly, neither compressed nor exaggerated by curvature. The numbers fall into place more neatly than many scientists expected. Then there is the distribution of galaxies. When astronomers map the cosmic web, the filaments, clusters, and voids, the large-scale arrangement fits comfortably inside a flat framework. Distances behave as they should. Angles hold steady. The universe resembles a vast sheet where gravity adds only local curves, not sweeping bends across the whole. But perhaps the most surprising source of flatness is inflation, the early burst of expansion that smoothed the universe in its first fraction of a second. During this period, space expanded so rapidly that any initial curvature would have been stretched almost perfectly flat, just as wrinkles on a balloon smooth out as it inflates. What remains today is the gentle, lingering flatness of a universe whose earliest moments pressed it into symmetry. Yet this does not mean flatness is simple or uninteresting. It represents a delicate balance between matter, energy, and expansion. Too much mass, and the universe would curve inward. Too little, and it would curve outward. But somehow, through physics we partly understand and mysteries we still explore, the cosmos rests in a narrow band between these extremes, a balance maintained across billions of years. Emotionally, there is something soothing about this. Flatness feels stable, open, peaceful. It offers a universe without edges or tight loops, where space stretches gently in all directions without dramatic twists. It creates a cosmic stage broad enough for galaxies to drift, for light to travel straight, for time to unfold in steady rhythm. Still, we remain humble in our conclusions. The observable universe shows flatness clearly, but the greater whole could curve in ways too subtle or too distant for us to detect. Our measurements reach far but not infinitely. Tonight, let flatness feel less like a certainty and more like a soft suggestion, a quiet hint from the cosmos that its shape may be simpler, calmer, and more open than our imaginations once believed. To understand why the universe looks so flat today, we must drift back to a moment so early, so brief, that it almost escapes imagination. A fraction of a second after the Big Bang, the cosmos experienced a sudden, astonishing expansion called inflation. In an instant far shorter than a blink, the universe grew from subatomic size to something large enough to encompass the seeds of every galaxy, that would ever form. This expansion didn't roar, it didn't explode, it stretched, smoothly, silently, relentlessly. Imagine a tiny wrinkle in a sheet of fabric. If you tug the sheet gently, the wrinkle remains, but if you stretch the sheet very quickly, the wrinkle smooths out until the fabric looks almost perfectly flat. Inflation performed this same smoothing on the entire universe. Any initial curvature, any lump or irregularity was expanded so dramatically that the cosmos became nearly uniform across vast distances. This smoothing didn't erase structure, it set the stage for it. As inflation ended, small quantum fluctuations, tiny variations in density, became the seeds from which galaxies, stars and planets would eventually grow. The gentle ripples in the cosmic microwave background are the frozen traces of these early fluctuations, stretched across space like quiet fingerprints from the dawn of time. Inflation also explains why distant regions of the universe appear so similar, even though they seem too far apart to have ever interacted. Before inflation, these regions were close enough to share information, to equalize temperature, density, and rhythm. When inflation stretched them apart, their shared history remained imprinted across the cosmos, creating a universe that feels remarkably uniform. But the smoothing effect of inflation carries a deeper message. It might explain why the universe appears so flat. Even if space began curved, inflation would have expanded it so dramatically that curvature became nearly undetectable, like trying to sense the roundness of Earth while standing in a quiet, open field. Flatter than our instruments can measure, flatter than our eyes can sense. And yet, there is a calm beauty in this idea. It suggests that the universe's large-scale shape is a memory of its earliest breath, a geometric echo frozen in place by a moment of unimaginable expansion. Tonight as you rest, imagine that early universe stretching like a slow breath, inhaled by the cosmos itself. A small, warm space becoming vast and cool. A wrinkled fabric smoothing into near perfection. A quiet moment that shaped everything you see and everything you are. The universe carries that ancient stillness even now. You can feel it in the silence behind stars. As we drift deeper into the question of cosmic geometry, a quiet realization emerges. The universe's shape may not be a fixed, rigid form at all. It may be something softer, something that appears solid only because we observe it from within a single moment of its long unfolding story. Just as a river seems to have a fixed path until you watch its waters flow, the universe may present a shape that is really a temporary expression of deep emotions. Space expands. Distances widen. Curvature shifts with the distribution of matter and the influence of dark energy. What looks flat today may not have been flat billions of years ago, and may not remain flat forever. The cosmic fabric moves, breathes, and responds to forces that stretch across time. Shape, in this sense, becomes more like a melody than a sculpture, something that evolves gently rather than something carved in permanence. Even our measurements contribute to this illusion. We observe light that has travelled for billions of years, carrying the imprint of space as it once was, not as it is now. Looking far away is also looking far back in time. Our picture of cosmic shape is stitched together from echoes, reflections, and signals that arrive from different eras. It's as though we are reading a story whose pages overlap, each written at a different moment in history. Some physicists suggest that shape may even be emergent, a property that arises from the interactions of deeper and more fundamental elements of reality. In this view, space-time might not be the foundation of the universe, but the result of something beneath it, something we have not yet identified. If so, curvature and geometry become gentle illusions, like patterns that appear when ripples move across water. Even more humbling is the thought that consciousness itself adds a layer to the illusion. We perceive shape in ways that make sense to our minds, through lines, surfaces, and curves, but the universe may not prefer those categories. Our intuition seeks edges and symmetry, yet the cosmos may be speaking a language of connection, probability, and flow. And so, the true shape of the universe might not be one thing. It might be many things across different scales, flat in the grandest view, curved near massive structures, twisted subtly through quantum fluctuations, ever-changing, yet always coherent. A vast, shifting tapestry. Tonight, let this idea bring softness rather than confusion. Not knowing the universe's final shape does not diminish its beauty. In fact, it deepens it. It invites you to release the need for certainty and simply drift with the rhythm of cosmic change. The universe does not rush to define itself, and neither must you. When we wonder about the universe's shape, we're not only studying the cosmos, we're studying ourselves. The human mind instinctively seeks edges, borders, outlines. We look for horizons to define a view, frames to contain an idea, familiar forms to make sense of the unfamiliar. Even as children, we learned by touching boundaries, the edge of a table, the rim of a bowl, the curve of a stone. Shape becomes comfort, limits become reassurance. So when we imagine the universe, our minds reach for the same vocabulary. We try to picture an outside, an enclosing shell, a wall or a frontier. We imagine the cosmos as if it were an object, something we might hold in our hands, turn over, inspect from above. But the universe does not offer that kind of certainty. It has no outside, no enclosing container, no edge where space simply stops. This mismatch between intuition and reality creates a quiet tension. We long for shape because shape is familiar, yet the cosmos gently refuses to be placed inside any frame we can draw. It stretches too far, flows too freely, bends in ways our senses cannot follow. Imagine standing by the ocean at night. The shoreline gives you a boundary you understand, but the water beyond it is endless darkness. You know the ocean is vast, yet your mind still feels steadied by the presence of the sand beneath your feet. In this way, the human mind seeks small certainties within large uncertainties, anchors within vastness. The universe offers no such anchor. It invites you into openness. It asks you to imagine without edges, to think without walls, to accept shapes that fold back on themselves or expand without limit. It encourages you to loosen your grip on the familiar, yet there is comfort in this too, because when the mind releases the need for borders, something softens. You begin to sense the universe not as a defined object, but as a flowing presence, a continuous field of space and time, humming with quiet motion. Curvature becomes less important than connection. Shape becomes less important than experience. And perhaps this shift mirrors something personal. The boundaries you draw around your life, where you think you begin and end, what you believe you can or cannot reach, may be gentler and more flexible than you assume. Just as the universe resists confinement, you too may hold more spaciousness than the mind first allows. Tonight, as you breathe, let your thoughts drift beyond their usual edges. Let the need for borders dissolve. Allow the vastness to feel safe, even comforting. A reminder that not all shapes need to be held. Some can simply be felt. When we imagine the universe, we often picture stars, galaxies, and glowing clouds of gas. But most of the cosmos is something far quieter. Emptiness. A vast, silent expanse where there is no light, no dust, no sound, only the subtle presence of space-time itself. And so the question arises, what is the shape of nothingness? It may seem strange to talk about shape where nothing exists, but emptiness is not truly empty. Even in the most silent regions between galaxies, quantum fluctuations stir softly. Particle pairs appear and vanish in the blink of unimaginable fractions of time. Dark energy permeates every pocket, gently influencing how space stretches. Even the vacuum has weight, tension, and texture, an invisible fabric humming beneath everything. Still, the emptiness feels shapeless, resistant to form. When you try to picture it, the mind often fills the void with something, a faint mist, a soft darkness, a distant glow, because pure nothingness is difficult to imagine. Our thoughts crave substance. They try to give the void a container. But in the universe, nothingness is the container. It holds the galaxies. It shapes the distances between stars. It forms the backdrop on which everything else unfolds. What, then, is its shape? The answer lies not in objects, but in behaviour. The emptier a region is, the more freely space can expand. Like a fabric relieved of weight, vacuum stretches gently under the influence of dark energy. Its shape is defined not by boundaries, but by motion. Its quiet outward flow, its widening, its calm acceptance of distance. You can think of emptiness as a blank page that grows larger over time, making room for the words that will eventually appear. Its shape is simply the potential for shape, a canvas with no edges, yet full of possibility. And yet, emptiness provides more structure than it seems. Its energy density determines the universe's overall curvature. Its stillness provides the backdrop against which light reveals geometry. Its expansion guides the paths of galaxies, stretching the cosmic web across unimaginable scales. In this quiet sense, nothingness shapes everything, not through presence, but through the space it allows, not through force, but through openness. Tonight, imagine drifting in a vast region of empty space. No stars, no planets, no sound. Only the soft fabric of space-time stretching around you. In that stillness, notice how peaceful emptiness feels, how gentle, how patient. The shape of nothingness may be the most calming shape of all, a quiet invitation to rest in possibility. When we speak of the universe's shape, we often picture only space, the stretching distances, the curvature around galaxies, the quiet expansion between clusters. But the universe is not built of space alone. Time, too, is woven into the fabric of reality. Its flow is not separate from the cosmos, but intertwined with it, forming a single structure, space-time. And space-time has a shape of its own. Time is not flat or uniform. It bends, stretches, and slows depending on the gravitational landscape around it. Near massive objects, time flows more slowly, as though pausing to acknowledge the weight of the matter it embraces. In emptier regions, time moves more freely, gliding forward with a lighter step. These differences are subtle in daily life, but across cosmic scales they shape the evolution of the universe. Imagine time as a gentle river. In wide, open valleys, the water flows smoothly and quickly, but near mountains, the massive stars and black holes of the cosmos, the river narrows and deepens, slowing to accommodate the terrain. You cannot separate the river from its banks. In the same way, space and time cannot be parted. Each influences the other. Because of this union, the universe's shape is not merely three-dimensional. It is four-dimensional, with time acting as the dimension that gives direction to everything that happens. Galaxies trace paths not just through space, but through space-time. Long, slow arcs that reveal how both space and time curve together. Even the expansion of the universe is an expansion of space-time, not space alone. It is time that allows space to grow from moment to moment, time that stretches the distances between galaxies, time that carries light on its long journey across billions of years. Without time, space would be frozen. Without space, time would have nowhere to flow. There is a deep serenity in realizing that time has shape. It means your experience of the universe, your memories, your moments, your awareness, is part of the same fabric that guides the stars. You're not separate from cosmic geometry. You're folded into it, moving gently along its currents with every breath you take. And perhaps that is why time feels both mysterious and familiar. It shapes us even as we drift through it. It stretches behind us like a long, quiet trail. And it opens ahead like a soft horizon. Tonight, imagine time not as a ticking clock, but as a smooth landscape, curving, flowing, embracing everything it touches. A dimension that holds you gently as the universe unfolds around you. When we picture the universe, we often imagine a static structure, a great silent architecture of stars hanging in emptiness. But the reality is softer, more dynamic, more fluid. The universe is not a sculpture. It is a fabric in motion, a flowing field of space-time that stretches, curves, and evolves with every passing moment. Nothing within it is still. Even stillness itself is part of a greater movement. Imagine a piece of cloth held loosely in the air. If you lift one corner, gentle ripples travel across its surface. If a breeze touches it, the threads shift and settle. The fabric does not resist. It responds. Space-time behaves in much the same way. Energy bends it, gravity shapes it, expansion pulls it outward, and through all of this the universe maintains a quiet coherence, like a vast tapestry adjusting to each subtle change. Galaxies ride this flowing fabric the way leaves drift along a slow river. They are not pushing themselves apart, they are carried by the expansion of space beneath them. Clusters form where the fabric dips slightly. Voids form where the fabric stretches thin. Even light feels the flow, its wavelength lengthening as it travels through expanding space-time, like a violin note mellowing as it echoes across a widening hall. If you could watch the universe from a timeless vantage point, you would not see rigid shapes. You would see waves, curves, swells, and soft depressions. A living geometry that shifts so gradually you only notice its change across billions of years. This flowing nature invites a different perspective on shape. Perhaps the universe does not have a fixed shape, in the way a stone has a shape. Perhaps it expresses shape, the way a river expresses a path through the land. A river's course is real but not permanent. It changes with time, influenced by the world around it. The universe, too, reshapes itself as energy moves, as expansion accelerates, as structure forms and dissolves. And you are part of this flow. Your life, your memories, your thoughts, all carried along the currents of space-time. You're not standing outside the fabric. You're woven into it, a soft thread moving with the gentle expansion of everything. There is comfort in knowing that the universe is not rigid. It leaves room for change, for growth, for the unknown. Shape becomes less of a boundary and more of a moment, a pause in an endless unfolding. Tonight, let yourself be part of that unfolding. Feel the world beneath you as something fluid and alive, a fabric stretching quietly in every direction. The universe flows, and you flow with it. To understand the universe's shape, we often turn to equations, measurements, and maps of distant galaxies. But the most faithful witness to cosmic geometry is something far simpler, far quieter: light. Light has no mass, no weight, no hesitation. It travels along the purest possible path, responding only to the curvature of space-time. Where space bends, light bends. Where space stretches, light stretches. And in doing so, it reveals the universe's shape more honestly than anything else. Imagine releasing a small beam of light in a dark, empty room. It travels perfectly straight, touching nothing, disturbed by nothing. Now imagine releasing that same beam across billions of light years. It glides between galaxies, slips around clusters, stretches as the universe expands. By the time it reaches us, that single photon carries a memory, a record of every curve, every stretch, every gravitational valley it passed through. Astronomers decode these memories by studying how light changes. A gentle redshift whispers of expansion. A subtle bending hints at curvature. A distorted pattern in the cosmic web reveals the tug of unseen mass. Through these signals, we feel the universe's geometry, the way fingertips feel the shape of an unseen object in the dark. Gravitational lensing, the bending of light around massive structures, acts like a cosmic magnifying glass. Galaxies appear stretched or mirrored, their shapes altered by the warping of space-time. These distortions are not imperfections, they are signatures. Each one says, softly, space curves here. Light never lies about the paths it takes. Even the faint glow of the cosmic microwave background carries shape. Its ripples reveal whether space is angled, curved, or flat. Its symmetry hints at the balance between matter and energy. Its smoothness tells us how inflation once stretched the nascent cosmos into near-perfect uniformity. Light is our messenger, our cartographer, our quiet companion across the void. It travels farther than any spacecraft could dream, bringing back news from eras long vanished. In its colour, in its direction, in its subtle distortions, it delivers a portrait of the universe's form. But there is a softer truth hidden within this. Just as light follows the shape of space-time, your thoughts follow the shape of your inner world, curving around memories, stretching into hopes, bending in response to the gravity of your experiences. You, too, navigate a landscape shaped by forces you cannot always see. Tonight, as your breath slows, imagine yourself as a small beam of light drifting across a calm cosmos. No hurry, no weight, only motion, gentle, continuous, open. Let the universe guide your path just as it guides the journey of every photon. After drifting through galaxies, curvature, and ancient light, it's easy to think of the universe's shape as something distant, a grand, abstract structure far removed from the quiet moments of your life. But the truth is softer, more intimate. You feel the universe's shape every day, not through measurements or telescopes, but through the rhythms that move within you. Your body exists inside space-time. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every thought is shaped by the same laws that guide the orbits of planets and the paths of photons. Gravity anchors you gently to the Earth, just as it anchors stars to their galaxies. Time flows differently for you than it does near black holes or in the vast emptiness between clusters, yet the principle is the same everywhere, a universal rhythm carried through the fabric of the cosmos. Consider how your mind navigates the world. It curves around memories, bends toward familiarity, stretches toward new possibilities. Your inner landscape too has a shape, one defined not by geometry but by experience. When something weighs heavily on you, time can feel slower, as though gravity itself has deepened. When you feel light and unburdened, the hours glide more freely, expanding like open space. In this way, your life mirrors the universe. Your thoughts drift like galaxies in a vast field of awareness. Your emotions rise and fall like quiet waves on space-time's surface. Even your dreams explore shapes that do not exist in waking life, bending reality the way gravity bends light. The same sense of mystery that surrounds cosmic shape surrounds the shape of your inner world. You cannot step outside yourself to view your life from above, just as we cannot step outside the universe to see its full form. You sense it from within, through the paths you walk, through the echoes of your past, through the way you move forward despite never seeing the whole map. This parallel is comforting. It means you're not a spectator of the universe, but a participant woven into its fabric. The cosmos does not surround you from the outside, it continues through you. Your existence is part of its geometry, part of its ongoing expansion, part of its gentle unfolding. Tonight, as you settle deeper into rest, Imagine your awareness floating in a quiet corner of the universe. Feel the softness of space around you, the calm flow of time beneath you, the gentle gravity of your own thoughts guiding your inner motion. You do not need to define the universe's shape. You are already living inside it, shaped by it, carried by it. And in this stillness, you can simply let yourself drift. As we explore the cosmos, we often hope for a definitive answer, a precise description of the universe's shape, a clean solution to its mysteries. But astronomy, at its quietest and most honest, reveals something gentler. The universe is more question than answer. Its vastness invites curiosity rather than closure, wonder rather than certainty. Every time we measure a new detail, a curvature, a ripple in ancient light, a distant galaxy drifting away, the universe responds not with finality but with more subtle mysteries. The closer we look, the more we discover how much remains unseen. It is like staring at the horizon. No matter how far you walk, the line ahead simply moves with you, always offering more to explore. Questions in science are not obstacles, they are invitations. They draw us forward the way a quiet path invites a traveller at dusk. The universe does not demand an answer, it simply opens gently into deeper layers of itself. Perhaps this is why its shape feels so elusive. We want boundaries, we want structure. But the cosmos offers something more fluid, more poetic, a geometry that shifts with time, a curvature influenced by forces we barely understand, a topology that may loop and twist in ways we can't fully imagine. Even the idea of shape becomes softer when viewed through this lens. Maybe the universe doesn't have one shape, but many. One at the larger scales, another in its early stages, another in the subtle fabric of quantum space. A tapestry woven of changing patterns rather than fixed outlines. And maybe that is the point. The universe doesn't present itself as a solved puzzle. It presents itself as a quiet conversation between what we can see and what we can feel, between the light that reaches us and the darkness that remains hidden, between the known and the infinite. There is a peace in accepting that some questions do not close. They stay open like night skies, allowing us to rest beneath them without needing every star to be named. As you lie here, breathing slowly, imagine the universe as a gentle question unfolding around you, not demanding effort, not pressing for answers, simply offering space. Room to wonder, room to drift. In that openness, you might feel something soften inside yourself as well. Your own life too may contain questions that don't need immediate solutions. Only patience, curiosity, and a little light. Tonight, let the cosmos be a question you don't have to answer. Let it be a horizon stretching quietly into possibility. Infinity is one of the most delicate ideas the universe offers us. It is not a number you can count toward, nor a place you can reach. It is a horizon that moves as you approach it, a concept that stretches gently beyond the limits of thought. When we ask about the universe's shape, we inevitably brush against infinity, not as something to solve, but as something to feel. Infinity does not demand urgency. It does not overwhelm when approached slowly. Instead, it quiets the mind, reminding you that not everything needs to be held at once. Just as the night sky seems infinite, even though you see only a fraction of its stars, the universe invites you to experience vastness without needing to grasp all of it. In cosmology, infinity can appear in different ways. A flat universe might extend forever, with no boundary to halt your motion. An open universe might widen endlessly, its curvature creating a space where every step reveals more room. Even a finite universe can evoke infinity through loops and repetitions, boundless in experience, even if limited in size. The mind, however, likes containers. It prefers edges, endings, and forms it can hold. Infinity resists that instinct, offering instead a gentle dissolution of boundaries, a reminder that some things are not meant to be enclosed, only encountered. Consider the way the ocean meets the sky. From the shore, the water seems endless. You know the earth curves, you know continents lie beyond, yet your senses accept the horizon as infinite. This is not a deception, it is an experience, a peaceful surrender to scale. Infinity in the universe works the same way. It is not a threat, not a void, not a cold abstraction. It is spaciousness, possibility, the invitation to rest in something larger than any single thought. Even in your own life, infinity appears in small moments, the way memories echo into the distance, the way hopes expand beyond what you can name, the way love, grief, wonder, or longing extend far past the edges of a single day. Infinity is not big, it is open. It is the universe saying softly, "There is more." Tonight, let the thought of infinity feel calm, not overwhelming. Feel the horizon in your mind stretch gently outward, with no pressure to reach it. Let space expand inside you the way the cosmos expands around you, slowly, patiently, endlessly. Infinity is not something you chase, it is something you breathe. In a world that often asks for certainty, precision, and clear answers, the universe offers a softer truth. You don't need to know everything to feel at peace. The cosmos is vast, mysterious, and filled with questions we may never fully solve. And yet it remains beautiful, harmonious, and quietly reassuring. Our desire for understanding is natural. We look to the sky and hope to name its shapes, trace its paths, predict its rhythms. But the universe does not unfold according to our timelines. Some mysteries linger for centuries, some may never be answered at all, and still the stars rise each night, galaxies drift with ancient patience, and the fabric of space-time expands with gentle consistency. There is a comfort in realizing that uncertainty does not diminish meaning, it expands it. Not knowing the universe's exact shape does not make it less wondrous. It makes it more open, more spacious, more inviting. Like a story whose ending has not yet been written, the cosmos offers room for imagination and curiosity, rather than closing itself off behind perfect understanding. Consider how often in your own life clarity arrives slowly. Moments unfold before their significance becomes clear. Questions linger before answers appear. Sometimes the most meaningful chapters are the ones where you simply drift, breathe, observe, and allow understanding to come in its own time. The universe mirrors this gentle process. It teaches us that patience can be powerful, and that mystery is not a failure of knowledge. It is a space for wonder to thrive. Even scientists who spend their lives pursuing truth embrace the unknown with quiet reverence. They measure what they can, explore what is visible, and acknowledge what remains hidden. In that humility lies a profound sense of peace, the understanding that discovery is a journey, not a race. Tonight you can allow yourself the same grace. You don't need to solve every question swirling in your mind. You don't need to carry the weight of every uncertainty. Just as the universe holds its secrets gently, you can hold your own unanswered questions with softness instead of strain. Let the unknown be a resting place, not a burden. Let it be a quiet, spacious horizon where possibilities live. You are part of a cosmos that expands without needing to explain itself, that flows without rushing, that breathes without effort. Not knowing everything is not a limitation. It is an invitation to wonder, to rest, to simply be. Now that we've wandered through philosophy, light, time, topology, and infinity, the universe's shape might feel less like a single answer and more like a quiet landscape of possibilities. So let us return gently to the three classical forms, flat, closed, and open, and see them not as competing theories, but as three calm interpretations of a cosmos too vast for any one description. A flat universe remains the simplest to imagine, space extending endlessly, like a smooth horizon with no curvature to tilt your path. Light glides straight, triangles behave as expected, and expansion unfolds uniformly. Flatness feels peaceful, a wide open field where nothing bends sharply, nothing loops unexpectedly. It offers stability, the comfort of symmetry, the sense that space stretches without secrets. A closed universe curves inward softly, like the surface of a higher dimensional sphere. You could travel forever and eventually return home, not because you turned, but because space itself gently guided you in a loop. This shape feels intimate, complete, self-contained. A cosmos with no edges, no infinities, only continuity. A cradle holding all existence with calm, embracing curvature. An open universe bends the opposite way, curving outward like a vast saddle. Here, space expands with increasing eagerness, offering boundlessness in every direction. Paths diverge, horizons widen, and infinity becomes a lived experience. This shape feels free, spacious, full of possibility. A universe that encourages forward motion, outward drift, endless wandering. Scientists study these forms through observation, like curves, galaxy clustering, ancient ripples in the cosmic microwave background. But beyond mathematics, each shape holds an emotional truth as well. Flatness whispers of balance. Closed curvature whispers of belonging. Openness whispers of freedom. None of these possibilities diminish the others. They coexist as interpretations of the universe that may hold aspects of all three, depending on scale, time, or perspective. The cosmos does not commit to simplicity. It evolves, breathes, and reveals itself layer by layer, like a landscape seen through shifting morning fog. And perhaps that is the deeper meaning in returning to these shapes. They remind us that the universe's form is not a fixed object, but a relationship between matter and energy, between expansion and gravity, between what we see and what remains hidden. Tonight, let all three possibilities rest softly in your mind. You don't need to choose one. Let them drift like constellations of thought, each offering a different kind of peace. Shapes are stories. The universe simply tells many at once. As we move toward the final stretch of our journey, a gentle truth comes into focus. The universe mirrors us as much as we study it. When we search for its shape, we're also searching for our place within it. A way to understand how something so vast can still feel connected to the quiet interior of our lives. Consider how often human questions about the cosmos reflect human hopes. Is the universe infinite, like our longing for possibility? Is it curved inward, like the loops of memory and emotion? Does it stretch outward forever, the way we stretch toward dreams we cannot yet name? In this way, cosmic shape becomes a metaphor for the landscapes inside us. A closed universe, folding softly back onto itself, speaks to the desire for return, for finding our way home even after wandering far. It echoes the cycles we live through, endings that turn into beginnings, stories that circle back with new meaning, moments that repeat until we finally understand them. A flat universe, balanced and open, mirrors the steadying experiences in life, those rare moments when things feel level, clear, evenly spaced, times when your thoughts line up, your emotions settle, and the world feels gently navigable. An open universe curving outward into endless expansion reflects the parts of us that yearn to grow, the urge to move forward, to try, to imagine, to stretch into possibilities that lie beyond the familiar edges of our days. It is the shape of curiosity, ambition, and quiet hope. Even the universe's mysteries mirror our inner uncertainties. Just as we cannot see past the observable horizon, we cannot always see far into our own futures. just as the cosmos offers hints but not full clarity, our lives unfold with patterns we sense but do not fully understand. Yet this mirroring is not meant to burden us, it is meant to reassure. You are not separate from the universe. Your questions echo its questions. Your rhythms echo its expansion. Your emotions follow curves as gentle and real as the curves of space-time. When you look at the night sky, you're not gazing at something foreign. You're seeing a reflection of the same processes that shape your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness. Stars form, fade, and renew, and so do you. Galaxies drift apart and find balance, and so do your thoughts. Curvature guides the motion of the cosmos, just as experience guides the motion of your life. Tonight, let the universe be not a distant mystery, but a mirror held softly before you. In its vastness, see your own depth. In its silence, hear your own calm. In its shape, recognize the gentle contours of your own existence. After drifting through geometries, curves, echoes of ancient light, and the quiet metaphors hidden within cosmic structure, we arrive at a simple, peaceful understanding. We know some things about the universe's shape, and we feel others. Both forms of knowing matter. Scientifically, the evidence points toward a universe that is almost perfectly flat. The cosmic microwave background shows ripples that match flat geometry with remarkable precision. Galaxies form patterns that stretch across space in just the way a flat cosmos would allow. Distances behave predictably. Angles hold true. Light travels mostly straight, bending only around local concentrations of mass. The simplest explanation is that, on the largest scales we can observe, space is calm, balanced, and nearly uncurved. And yet even this clarity comes wrapped in mystery. Flatness does not tell us whether the universe is infinite or simply very large. It does not reveal the deeper topology, whether space loops softly in ways too subtle for our instruments to detect. It does not tell us what lies beyond the observable horizon, where light has not yet had time to reach us. It does not reveal how dark energy might reshape the cosmos billions of years from now. Our knowledge is real but incomplete, precise but still surrounded by silence. Emotionally, this feels right. The universe gives us enough understanding to stand in awe, but not so much that wonder disappears. Like a quiet companion, it reveals itself slowly, offering glimpses rather than full answers, allowing us to rest inside the unknown without fear. And what you feel about the universe's shape is just as important as what the data suggests. A closed universe might comfort you with its promise of return. A flat universe might soothe you with its balance, its gentle openness. An open universe might inspire you with its endless widening, a metaphor for growth and possibility. There is no single way to feel the universe's shape. Your response is shaped by your life, your memories, your inner landscape. Cosmology meets you where you are, and perhaps that is the quietest truth of all. The universe's shape is partly a scientific structure and partly a human story. We project meaning onto its curves, and in doing so, we learn about ourselves, our longings, our fears, our hopes, the way we navigate uncertainty. Tonight, you don't need to grasp every detail of cosmic geometry. You don't need to solve curvature or picture higher dimensional loops. You only need to rest in the balance between knowing and not knowing, a balance the universe itself has perfected. Let the cosmos hold some answers, and let it hold some mysteries. There is room for both. As our journey moves toward its end, imagine yourself drifting gently back from the vastness of cosmic scales. The galaxies, once spread across billions of light years, draw inward in your awareness. The curves of space-time soften into background hums. The questions of shape and infinity settle like dust floating back to Earth after a long, slow breath. You return, quietly, to a single horizon, the place where your experience meets the universe. In this peaceful return, we are reminded that the cosmos does not ask us to hold its immensity all at once. It allows us to approach and withdraw, to wonder and rest. Just as tides come and go, your thoughts can move freely between the infinite and the familiar. There is no pressure to understand everything. There is only the gentle rhythm of curiosity and calm. The horizon in front of you, whether imagined or remembered, becomes a symbol of balance. It holds both possibility and limit, both openness and closure. It reminds you that while the universe extends far beyond sight, your place within it is here, grounded in the quiet moments that shape your life. As you return from the vast geometries, notice how your breath has slowed, how your body has settled, how the space around you feels wider and softer than before. This is what the cosmos offers: perspective that loosens the mind, stillness that softens the heart. The shapes of the universe, flat, open, closed, become gentle metaphors now. They dissolve into a calm understanding that the cosmos is neither distant nor indifferent. It is a context, a home, a flowing fabric in which you are naturally woven. You do not stand outside it, looking in. You drift within it, supported by its laws, carried by its expansion, held by its gravity. Even the horizon you imagine is not fixed. It expands with your awareness, stretches with your breath, opens with your rest. The limits you perceive are simply points where light has not yet arrived, not barriers, but beginnings. As you settle deeper into stillness, let the universe's immensity shrink to a soft glow at the edge of thought. You explored its curves, its possibilities, its mysteries. Now you can let them fade into a peaceful afterimage, like a constellation slowly dimming as dawn approaches. Tonight, let your mind rest at the horizon, a quiet boundary between the known and the unknown, a place where wonder becomes calm, a place where the universe feels close enough to cradle you. Now as the journey comes to rest, let the question that carried us, what is the true shape of the universe? Return softly to your thoughts, not as a puzzle to solve but as a gentle presence, a reminder that some mysteries are meant not to challenge us but to soothe us, to show us that vastness can be calming and that not knowing can be a kind of peace. Throughout this voyage, we followed light across unimaginable distances, traced the curves of space-time, drifted through open expanses and looping geometries, and listened to the faint whispers of the universe's earliest moments. We explored possibilities that stretched from simple flatness to elegant loops to infinite openness, and in doing so, we touched not only the shape of the cosmos, but the quiet contours of our own awareness. Because the universe's shape is not just something out there, it surrounds you, it holds you, it flows through your breath, your memories, your sense of time. You're not separate from it, observing from a distance. You're a point within its fabric, a moment of awareness carried gently along its currents. Whatever the cosmos may be, flat as a calm horizon, curved like a cradle, or forever opening into boundless expansion, its shape includes you. You are part of the pattern, a thread woven into a tapestry that began long before you were born and will continue long after you rest. And just as the universe expands with a steady, patient rhythm, so too can your thoughts expand and soften, flowing toward calm without needing to reach any final conclusion. As you lie here, allow yourself to feel the shape that truly matters, the shape of this moment, a quiet, spacious awareness, a sense of being gently held by something larger than your thoughts, a feeling that you are exactly where you need to be, drifting in a cosmos that asks nothing of you except to breathe. Let the questions fade, let the horizons dim, let the vastness become a soft cradle for your mind. And when sleep arrives, let it come like a slow wave moving across the universe, effortless, natural, and full of peace. Everything flows. Sleep in that motion,